Hey everyone, Meltyman234 here, and welcome to another episode of Forgotten Media, where I dig up some stuff you may or may not have heard of. Well, it's no surprise that I'm once again doing another episode related to Sonic the Hedgehog, cause, yeah, there's a lot of Sonic topics that I could do on this show. And not the TV shows. I've already stated that I won't do any of the Sonic TV shows on this series. Over the years, Sonic the Hedgehog has stood the test of time, even with the bumps in the road from time to time. To me, the games went downhill when Sonic Colors came out, and since I didn't have a PS3 back in 2006, I never played Sonic Next Gen, so the whole deal with all the Draminators for that game just flew past me. But that didn't matter much because I mostly just read the Sonic comics made by Archie Comics, more often than the games, and even with the forced reboot, I'm still reading through and enjoying them because it's a whole lot better than what these recent Sonic games have been like. For today's Sonic topic, we're going to be looking at some games that were part of Sonic Cafe, a mobile phone game service made by Sega and Sonic Team, and was only exclusively released in Japan. I also find it odd that the logo shows Amigo from Samba de Amigo, and as far as I know, there are no mobile phone games based off of that game. The library of games are only Sonic games. Even though there are a lot of them, there's really not much to say about them, so I'll be plowing through them pretty fast like the speedster himself. Also, you'll have to excuse the low-quality images, cause they were the only ones that I could find. So let's get this mobile phone marathon started. 2001 was the year 3 games were released for their library, starting off with Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, you know, the game that has to be ported onto almost every frickin' console and game system known to mankind. As you can tell, the graphics are very low quality, but then again, it's for mobile phones back in 2001. What'd you expect? I don't know if they ported the entire game or just a handful of levels, but this was actually a free download for a while as part of Sonic's 10th anniversary. Sonic Tennis, a game where you play as Sonic and have a friendly game of tennis against Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. The game has a few cutscenes showing the characters whacking the ball, and later on the game's graphics were updated for newer models of phones. But other than that, there's not much to say about this game. Sonic's Napoleon. Yeah, you read that title and you just want to laugh. It's a card game where the player is Sonic, and your opponents are Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Dr. Robotnik. Yeah, I guess they decided to let that egghead have some fun. The goal of the game is to get the most points over 5 rounds of play. And yes, Napoleon is a real card game. So if you've ever played it or heard of that game, then that's exactly what it is, just with Sonic characters thrown in. Now that 2001 is over, 2002 got a whole mess of games, starting off with Sonic Golf, a game that predates Sega Splash Golf. Instead of playing for 18 holes, you play for 9 holes. And if it wasn't for the logo and the text messages from Sonic, this could have been passed on as an ordinary golf game for phones. Speed! Wow, that's a very creative title for a Sonic game. To sum this game up in a nutshell, Sonic and Tails decide to have a friendly game of Speed, which is obviously a card game. Sonic Fishing. You select your lure, you cast it, and hope to get a big one. Kinda reminds me of Sega Bass Fishing in some ways. And just like Sonic Golf, the game would have been passed on as any other fishing game for phones. You don't even see Sonic in this game. My only guess is that the title is a lie because the only character you're playing is Big the Cat because he's the only person in the games who actually fishes. Sonic Billiards. Ooh, what's this? A game based off of Sonic Billiard Adventure? Nah, it's just Sonic and Shadow having a game of pool. You aim your ball, hit the balls, and hope to score more points, whether it be from the old version or the new version. And that's it. Nakayoshi Chow, or Good Friend Chow. Remember the Chow Gardens that Sega doesn't feature in the Sonic games anymore? Well, that's exactly what this game is. A mobile phone version of a Chow Garden. You raise your Chow, you talk to it, you download some wallpaper, and so on. Surprisingly, this is the only game that only focuses on the Chow. Bet you didn't know they had their own video game besides the Chows in Space trilogy. Sonic Bowling, oh boy, an intense competition between Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow in a high-stakes game of bowling, and that's it, really. Also, what's with the black background? Are Sonic and the gang playing this game in space? Dr. Eggman's Number Guess Panic. At first I thought this was a game where you actually play as Robotnik, but nope, you play as Tails. It's just like WARIOS Woods, where you're playing as Toad, or Mario is Missing, where you're playing as Luigi. So how does this game play? Well, Robotnik has planted some bombs, and Tails has to defuse them before they go boom. And yeah, I guess it's some kind of a pattern guessing game or something. Also, I kinda like Tails' icon box in this game. a little bit different than what we've normally seen with Tails' usual talk sprites. Sonic's Minesweeper. As the name states, it's a game of Minesweeper. You know, the game that's been ported onto every PC ever. There are two modes in this game. A time mode where you play as Robotnik, and a non-time mode where you play as Sonic. Kind of interesting. And here comes 2003, a year where we would surprisingly get some Sonic racing games, starting off with Sonic Racing Shift Up. Yep, it's basically a racing game with Sonic in a car. You can race against opponents, upload and download stuff from a server, and collect rings to make your car go faster. Kinda like in Crash Team Racing, where you collect 10 Wampa Fruit in order to get more speed. But it's pretty interesting, a game that predates Sega All-Stars Racing, and nobody's complaining about the whole Sonic's in a car crap. Well, then again, Japan doesn't really give a damn about Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic Putter, another golf game, except this time, instead of actual golf, it's Sonic playing mini-golf. And that's it, really. Sonic Darts. Man, they're just all over the place for these kind of games. Well, it's basically a game of throwing darts just with Sonic characters thrown in. I really can't think of anything much to say about this, so let's just move on. Sonic Racing Kart. Ooh, another racing game. Well, in this game, Sonic's in a go-kart instead of a car, there are time attack modes, and the only controls that you use in this game is left and right. The game automatically accelerates to its highest speed. Sounds like this game was really easy to play for its time. Sonic REVERSI. Well, it's a game of REVERSI with Sonic, Tails, Amy, and a Chow, although the Chow isn't an opponent if you play the practice mode. Each time you win a game, you earn some rings, so there's a bit of a reward for winning a game of REVERSI. Tails Flying Get. Basically, it's a mobile phone port of one of the mini-games from Sonic Battle. You fly around, you collect rings, you avoid mines, and that's about it, really. So, to start off with our 2004 run, we have Sonic Hopping, a game where you play as Sonic on a pogo stick, and you have to literally hop your way through this maze-like area to collect rings. There's even a sequel, Sonic Hopping 2, and it's just like the first game, except with new hazards thrown in. Well, I never thought I'd see a Sonic game where Sonic's on a pogo stick. Sonic Hearts. The name of this game makes me think of a crossover with Sonic the Hedgehog and Kingdom Hearts. But actually, it's a game where Sonic and his friends are playing a card game called Hearts. Get rid of all your cards, get the lowest score, and you win! Sonic Panel Puzzle. Well, in this game, you actually get to play as Dr. Robotnik, and what do? Fix tiled puzzles that have been mixed up. Okay. Sonic Gammon. Yeah, I guess Sonic and Robotnik decided to have a game of backgammon to settle their differences once and for all, or something. Well, we're about halfway there. The year is 2005, and for this year we got Sonic's Millionaires, a game of cards known as Millionaire, played by Sonic and the gang. My bets are on Tails becoming the millionaire. Sonic Jump. Well, this game isn't that forgotten, but I'm gonna throw it into the mix anyway. You play as Sonic, and the goal is to jump on platforms, fight badniks, collect Chaos Emeralds, and defeat Dr. Robotnik. Yeah, moving left and right to move Sonic upwards. A style of gameplay that is very popular with other mobile phone games. One of them that I can think of is Doodle Jump. And the reason that it isn't forgotten is mostly because this is the first Sonic game on this list that has been remade for mobile phones of today. Amy's American Page 1. Yeah, bet you didn't know Amy Rose had her own video game. Well, it's just another card game, obviously Page 1, and this time your opponents are Rouge the Bat, Cream the Rabbit, and a Hero Chow. I guess they didn't bother featuring Tikal or Blaze the Cat as player number 4. Sonic Kart 3D X. Now that sounds intense when you have both 3D and X combined. It's a sequel to Sonic Racing Kart, and that's about it really. Nothing new added to the gameplay, just some slightly updated graphics. Sonic the Hedgehog. Wait, didn't we already cover this? Well, looks like we're going to be covering it again. Yeah, just a part of the first game, nothing more. There are some interesting changes to this one. Instead of going to the special stage to get a Chaos Emerald, you just touch the goal ring and you instantly get a Chaos Emerald. It also has unlimited continues, a save feature, and cheats. There are some other minor changes here and there, but that's basically it. An easier version of the first game.